Hey guys, what's going on? So in this video, I'm going to be going through my top holdings in my personal portfolio, long-term, mid-term, and short-term, and also just the stocks that I believe are the most undervalued in the market and have the best risk-reward ratio. I think investing in a lot of these stocks have a very good chance of doubling our money, something that you can't find super often in the stock market. And I'm looking at these opportunities as something we're going to look back on and think about we should have put more money in there, kind of like if we're looking back right now at Tesla last year when it was trading the 200s. Now it's at 1600. We're looking back on it now saying we wish we would put money in there now. I feel like some of these opportunities we're going to be looking back on and think, why did I not put more money in this? So I'm going to be bringing those opportunities to you guys. Make sure to stay tuned till the end of the video to get all the opportunities. And also, I wanted to start a new series on this channel, and that's me building a portfolio. Now, I have a couple options, and you guys can let me know in the comments what you would prefer, which would be me building a portfolio of long-term investments. This series could consist of every week me adding $1,000 to this account and buying more stocks with that $1,000. I'll have an update video every week out. Or instead of doing that, we could do a trading account, which I won't be adding money every week, where I'll be trying to multiply my account by trading. So let me know in the comments what you would prefer. It's definitely up to you guys. And also on the second channel, I know that the link wasn't working last time you guys said, so the link is in the description if you check that, and I'll also link it above to see if it works this time. But on that channel, I'm going to be starting a Robinhood challenge as well, if you want to go check that channel out. I'm also going to be doing some more penny stock videos on that channel, but I'll keep penny stock videos on this channel as well. Just looking to diversify my content on YouTube, and I think these two things could be very, very good for the channel and for the second channel. So let's get into the stocks that I believe have the most value and growth potential in the entire stock market. So first off, the stock that I believe has the most unrealized opportunity by the market. This is for a merger corporation, ticker symbol FMCI, and this is the company that's merging with Tattooed Chef, and they'll be merging sometime within the next 2 months. So I think the value of this stock is unbelievable right now. You guys know that I made a ton of videos on the past on this stock. My most recent video for the top 5 Robinhood stocks, this was number 1 on that list, and also you can go check out that video if you want to see my full thesis on this one. But I did find some more info that I want to bring you guys about this stock and just why I believe it is so undervalued. So first of all, let's look at some of the management team and board of directors. So one that I found that was very interesting, I'm not going to go through all of them, just bringing this one up. This guy is Ryan Olahan. This guy is the managing director of food, beverage, and restaurants at Google. So this gives Tattooed Chef a slight connection with Google. Now, I don't know what would happen, but if they could provide food for Google's employees, if they could have a link up with Google, if Google could buy them out and get into the food space, who knows the possibilities? Now, of course, that's very unlikely, but this connection does bring up some speculation. Could something really big happen with these two companies? Who knows? So this company is only valued at a market cap of $395 million, and right now they're bringing in about $96 million in revenue per year, and that's growing at like a 100% clip. Now, they are losing money right now, we do know that in the past, and I believe that growth should continue at least a 50% plus clip. They're coming out with a bunch of new products right now. They have an amazing management team. Like I showed you one of the board of directors. They just got connections all over the place. Very, very smart. The percent of shares of this stock owned by institutions is 97.77%. So about 98% of shares are owned by institutions. So what does this mean? Let's think about this for a second. These institutions that own this stock, they're not stock traders, they're not swing traders. What these institutions do, they buy and hold. So this takes 98% of FMCI stock just gone. This is pretty much being held. So the float out there for the public, for retail investors, this makes the float a lot smaller. And each time one of these stocks gets bought and sold, there's just one more investor that comes in and holds long term. So some shares are being taken away each time, and that just brings the stock price up. But I believe once the merger does happen, I do see an easy $22 plus price target, and we should reach $40 by the end of the year, which would be more than 2x. Now I see a very good chance of this happening. The worst case scenario is already gone as the merger is confirmed. They did extend the date a month, so now this company has an extra month to get the merger done. But like I was saying, my number one fear was the merger was not going to happen. Now that that is out of the way, I'm super heavy in this stock and I have no reservations doing it. Let's take a look at this chart for a second. It said global meat production, 400 million tons per year, and we can see it peaked 2 years ago. Since 2 years, it's been on the downtrend. The people who are staying away from meat, going to vegetarian products, is increasing every single year. This just raises the demand for vegetarian products, which is Tattooed Chef's straight business model, and they're going to benefit greatly off this, the increase of demand in vegetarian products. We can also see a Bloomberg tweet that recently came out that's titled, "The world is finally losing its taste for meat," which, as we can see in this chart, this thesis is correct. And finally, let's take a look at this Beyond Meat product. So I saw this post on StockTwits with this image in it, and as we can see, zoom into that thing, that is disgusting, I'm sorry. That looks like something we all don't want to think it is. This image looks like something you want to immediately forget about. Beyond Meat, I'm sorry, but that's disgusting. Tattooed Chef is coming in to take your market share. Okay, just kidding about that, but Tattooed Chef is going to be right there with Beyond Meat. Tattooed Chef specializes in these frozen products. These products do sell for a premium. They are pretty expensive, but as we've seen, there's products that are being sold out. Look at this picture right here. This product is being sold out by Tattooed Chef. There's proof of this. There's proof in sales numbers, 100% growth. This company is here to stay, and they're here to grow like crazy. Very, very undervalued. I can see them having a 1 billion market cap by the end of the year, which would be more than double very, very easily. So the next stock we're going to be looking at is what I think is one of the most fundamentally best companies I've seen in a very long time. So this stock is Rocket Companies, ticker symbol RKT. This was a recent IPO. It took off and it's trended down since. So let's look into what this company does. They own a bunch of smaller companies, including Rocket Mortgage and Quicken Loans. These are the ones we're going to be mainly looking into in this video. And so the business model is very interesting. So Rocket mortgage rates and Quicken rates tend to be a little bit above the industry average. However, it's hard to beat the quality and ease of Rocket's online mortgage process. So everything is done in just 8 minutes compared to banks that takes forever. So Rocket Mortgage describes himself in this way. If you don't have the patience for banks and want a fast, convenient way to see your mortgage options, you should give Rocket Mortgage a try. One thing to note is that Rocket Mortgage does not excel for its rates, which are average at best. But one area that this loan and mortgage service does have is its industry beating in its customer service. So let's take a look at this chart. So these are mortgage related complaints at the major lenders. So we can see Rocket Mortgage, who had 774,900 mortgage originations in 2019, and they were the second most compared to Wells Fargo. So we can say they had 187 complaints, and they have the lowest by far of complaints per 1,000 mortgages, 0.24 compared to 0.33, all the way up to 0.53. So they absolutely destroyed these other companies in this metric. So let's look at some of the fundamentals of this company. So some key metrics that Rocket Companies has is they had 124 billion in 2020 mortgage originations, 6.4 billion in 2020 total revenue so far, 3.5 times the industry average refinance retention rate, and there's 20,000 team members for the company. So they advertise to investors of why should they invest in them. So they have an accelerating market opportunity. They're at the center of the largest consumer asset class in housing, supported by about 3% annual home price appreciation. So they provide simple, fast, and trusted digital solutions for complex and personal transactions. This is something that I see as the future of these lending services. Everything is going to be digitalized and quick and easy for the consumers. So I see this growing like crazy. People are going to be forgetting banks in the future and just doing everything online, making it quick and easy for themselves, and it's just way more convenient. This is a big growth opportunity in my opinion. So they also have constant innovation, leveraging decades of technology, investment, and innovation to drive industry disruption and deliver an unmatched customer service. So yesterday they actually came out with their Q2 numbers, and they will have their Q2 earnings call on September 2nd. So they're going to be talking about these numbers, any other news that may have come out during this quarter, and just what they expect in the future. But for right now, all we can look at is the numbers, and these are absolutely mind-blowing. Let's take a look at these. So the second quarter highlights. Their closed loan origination volume of 72.3 billion increased 40% compared to the first quarter of 2020 and 126% compared to the second quarter of 2019. Total net revenue, which is the money that they've made, was 5 billion, increased 269% compared to the first quarter of 2020 and 437% compared to the second quarter of 2019. Absolutely crazy. The net rate lock volume was 92 billion, an increase of 64% in the first quarter of 2020 and 170% compared to the second quarter of 2019. The net income was 3.5 billion, which is the money that they made compared to the net income of 97 million in the first quarter of 2020 and net loss of 54 million in the second quarter of 2019. So we can see in the second quarter of 2019, they were losing 54 million per quarter. Now in 2020, they're gaining 3.5 billion. Guys, that is absolutely nuts. So the adjusted net revenue was 5.3 billion, an increase of 152% in the first quarter of 2020 and 300% compared to the second quarter of 2019. Adjusted net income was 2.8 billion, an increase of 335% compared to the first quarter of 2020 and 995% compared to the second quarter of 2019. And finally, the adjusted EBITDA of 3.8 billion was a growth of 317% compared to the first quarter of 2020 and 868% compared to the second quarter of 2019. These numbers are some of the most insane numbers that I've seen for a company yet. Now looking at the business model, I absolutely love this company's business model, how they're innovating lending services, moving it over to more technology, more digitalized. In my opinion, this is going to be huge in the future. It's just going to take over the entire industry. And as you saw with those numbers, compared to the second quarter of 2019, This second quarter of 2020 absolutely blew those numbers out of the water, at least doubling it on every metric, and some were 900% plus. So that is absolutely insane. Like I was saying, this is one of the most fundamentally sound companies I've seen in a very long time. So let's look at the SEC filing and see what information we can derive out of there. So taking a look at the closed loan origination volume, we can see the 3 months ended on June 30th. We can see 2020 compared to 2019. So they went from 31 billion to 72 billion, more than a 2x from there. And from 6 months, they were over a 3x, going from 54 billion to 124 billion. So their closed loans origination volume has gone absolutely crazy, more than a double from last year. So we can look at the total revenue, which is more than a 5x from 2019 compared to 2020. They were actually losing money, and they were losing 54 million per quarter in 2019. And now in 2020, take a look at this. They're making 3.4 billion, which is absolutely crazy. We see the adjusted revenue, the adjusted net income, and the adjusted EBITDA. Just look at those increases from 2019 to 2020. This is some of the most insane numbers that I've ever seen. So like I was saying, looking at the net income, we can see that they lost 54 million in 3 months in 2019. In 2020, they're up 3.4 billion. We can just look at the expenses, the adjusted EBITDA, which is 3.8 billion compared to 396 million for the 3 months. That's the metrics that I'm looking at. And looking at the cash equivalents, they have 1.724 billion right now. And compared to last year, December 31st, they had 1.351 billion. So they are building up the balance sheet. So we can see the other funding. So right now they do have a little bit more debt than they did have before, just because they are growing so much. This is very reasonable looking at that. And they also have a bunch more equity, about 2 billion more in equity. So like I was saying, the second quarter earnings call will be on September 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. This is when I expect them to just announce how excited they are, the crazy growth, and just vocalize their guidance. And that's what's going to absolutely launch the stock. I mean, just looking at the value, the market cap of this company is 37.6 billion. Now the fact that they just made 3.5 billion in 3 months, looking at this rate, they're going to reach their market cap in 3 years. That's a PE ratio of 3. Now I do expect this to slow down because that's obviously not sustainable. But if this does keep going, man oh man, this is going to double, triple, quadruple the stock price. Just the rate that they're growing at, they did recently IPO, securing more and more funding for them to be able to grow even more. If the housing market does pick up, if the housing market does crash, that will obviously hurt the company. But the housing market is pretty steady at the moment. Things are looking very good for this company. And I think this is one of the best value growth stocks you can get in the market right now. And on Friday, I was absolutely loading up on this stock. After seeing those numbers that they posted in quarter 2, I was very happy buying super heavy in this company. So my personal biggest position in the entire stock market, I'm loaded up with calls and shares. This is LCA, which is going to be the merger with Golden Nugget Gaming. So I've gone over this stock a ton in the past, as well as FMCI, like I was saying. But this stock is my #1 risk-reward ratio for all of my holdings. So let's take a look at some data that I've looked at recently. So some things about this company. They're currently located in New Jersey. They're looking to expand in other states, but they're currently located in New Jersey. This company is cash flow positive, something super rare for a SPAQ and recent IPO. They're also the #1 online gambling site in the entire industry. More states very soon, including Michigan, Pennsylvania, Colorado, are going to be opening up very soon. They do expect to move into Michigan and Pennsylvania by the end of 2020, which is going to absolutely multiply their revenue 2x or 3x. And just wait until the entire US is open within the next few years. Each time a new state opens their online gambling and accepts it, I think we're going to see pop every single time for LCA. So this company's current market cap is about 500 million. Looking at DraftKings market cap is 12 billion. DraftKings is losing money, guys. LCA, Golden Nugget Gaming, is making money. They're very cash flow positive. So essentially Golden Nugget is valued at 1/24th of DraftKings value. So if we make these two equal, which DraftKings does have more revenue, they are the more valuable company, but let's make these two companies equal just for this experiment. So if these two companies were equal in market cap, LCA / soon to be Golden Nugget Gaming, which is going to be called GNOG, if this was valued at the same market cap that DraftKings was valued, this stock would be trading at $312. That is from their $13 stock price right now. That would be times 24, which would be, like I was saying, $312. So stock price is something that you don't look at. You look at the market cap and the valuation, the ratios, and just looking at the fundamentals of this company. They're making money, they're primed for growth. I see online gambling as such a better growth opportunity than sports betting, which is already very crowded with a bunch of companies. And the fact is, Golden Nugget is already diversified into sports betting. Now only 5% of this company's revenue is with sports betting because they obviously see a better opportunity in the online gambling space, and I see that as well. Just think about this for a second. There's people at home that are one click away on their computer from gambling online. They could lose thousands of dollars in a span of 1 hour. Now, while this is not a good thing at all, for Golden Nugget, they're going to make absolute bank off these gambling addicts. That's just a fact that we see so many addicted gamblers, so many people who can't stop going to the casino. Think about if that's in the ease of your own home. Just think about that. Where money looks virtual. You can just lose it all and not blink twice. Something that we've also seen in Robinhood traders. This is very alike. Online gambling is going to be the same type of thing, except Golden Nugget is going to be making all the money off of this. I think LCA has a very reasonable chance to reach $30 by the very end of 2020 and should keep rising, should keep having those pops in the stock as we get more and more news announcing that online gambling is being accepted in new states, which I believe is the future for most states. I think most of the states will be legalized in online gambling in the next 10 to 15 years. So I was reading this article and had to screenshot this. This article is saying no matter which month it is, Golden Nugget claims the top spot. They are the New England Patriots of the online casino industry. In July, the license holder reported $31.4 million in revenue, a 111.3% year-over-year increase, and the previous high of $29.1 million was set in June. So let's look at this for a second. Let's look at the fundamental value. This company is valued right at about $500 million in market cap. They just made $30 million in revenue in July. So multiplying $30 million by 12, which would be their 1 year revenue, if they keep these numbers up, which chances are they keep on increasing these numbers. Now they are just slightly profitable right now, but if we multiply their revenue by 12, so 30 million times 12, that's 360 million per year in revenue, and the market cap is 500 million. They're almost matching their market cap with their revenue. Just wait until they're more profitable. Just wait until they multiply their revenue. They are very undervalued. The market cap is way too low. The market cap, in my opinion, should be $1.5 to $2 billion right now. And looking at DraftKings, the fact that it's valued so high at $12 billion, this is just telling us that this sector trades for a premium. People are going to be wanting to own these sports betting stocks and these online gambling stocks. I think at some point, online gambling will be the hot sector, and right now Golden Nugget is leading the charge and should have a 2 to 3x opportunity by the end of this year, and I believe has a 10x opportunity years out. It's just the fact that they're already profitable, they're already valued so low. Guys, if you can get in now, these prices are absolute steals. Like I was saying, I expect this stock to be $30 plus by the end of 2020, and I could see $100 within the next few years. I wouldn't be surprised if we see $300, which would be more than a 20x in the next 10 years. I just think online gambling is the absolute future. It's the new innovation. It's going to be the new exciting thing. Now let's say 10 new states get legalized in the next 5 years, multiplying their current revenue by 5 because New Jersey is a big online gambling state. So this would make their $30 million per month in revenue go to $150 million if 10 states do get legalized. So looking at $150 million in revenue, multiply that by 12, which would be their 1 year in revenue in the scenario of 10 states being legalized. This would equal $1.8 billion in revenue in this hypothetical scenario where 10 states would be legalized in gambling. $1.8 billion in revenue if the scenario does happen, and the market cap is $500 million. Something doesn't add up here, guys. You do the math, you do the fundamental analysis. I've given you all the information I have, and I think there's a realistic chance Golden Nugget has a 10x within the next couple years. Golden Nugget also came out with an SEC filing this week, confirming that the transaction is expected to close in the third quarter of 2020. So one more thing about DraftKings. If Golden Nugget just gets to 1/3 of DraftKings valuation, that means they'll be trading at an 8x from here, which would be about $100 per share, which I think is very, very reasonable for this company. So for those reasons, LCA, soon to be Golden Nugget Gaming, is my number one holding in my portfolio. I have a bunch of call options, have a bunch of shares that I own. So the fundamental analysis and the social analysis of the research that I've done leads me to believe these theses that I just told you, these price predictions that I believe have a good chance of happening. Just believe me, I've spent days straight researching LCA. LCA is my absolute number one holding, as the stock group knows, and literally my investment decisions speak for themselves, as I'm absolutely loaded up with LCA, over a couple thousand shares of this company, and also over 100 call options. So I'm ready to double my money in this stock. Very, very excited. So the final stock that I have a huge position in that I'm going to be talking about in this video, this is Spartan Acquisition Corp, ticker symbol SPAQ, and this is going to be the merger with FISKER, which is going to be the new electric car company by Henrik FISKER, the man himself. So my big thesis with this one is just the fact that it's very, very undervalued. I believe that the EV sector is going to gain momentum and hype once again, as we saw earlier in the year. And my number one bullish thesis on this stock is just look at the institutional holdings. 96.04% of shares are held by institutions. So like I was saying earlier with FMCI, this is kind of the same thing. Institutions are the smart money guys. They're holding 96% of shares. they're holding 96% of shares, which means that they obviously believe in this company long term. I know there's a lot of speculation on how this company may be a scam, but if things go right for this company, this is a potential 10x, and I'm not expecting that. Personally, I'm playing more of the hype. I do not believe in this company super long term. Just from the things that I've read, the speculation, it does seem more of a dream. Their business model, kind of like Nikola, is kind of so far out of reach. But I do see this as a potential 10x, riding on the hype. If they come out with their first product, get some sales going, they do have a lot of pre-orders. Things could go very, very well. If things go right, this could be a 30x. If things go perfectly, now of course I'm not expecting that. This is more of a swing trade for me right now. But they are expected to merge in October, like FISKER has stated. And I do expect a huge pop. Could see a 2 to 3x in October. And that's what I'm playing. I may or may not be holding long term. Depends on if my thesis changes for the long term, if I do start believing this company super long term. So that's my thesis on SPAQ, one of the most undervalued stocks in the market right now, as the institutional holdings say so. So guys, I just wanted to update you guys on some of those stocks. I know that I've talked about a lot of these in the past. If you want to check those out, I have a bunch of videos on them. And it is all different research than the research that I've shown in this video. But I did just want to update you guys on my confidence levels. Super, super confident in these stocks. As I bet you guys can tell, my investments in these companies do speak for itself. As you can ask the stock group, as the stock group knows, I do probably have 70% of my portfolio in these companies that I stated in this video. So if you guys want to join the private stock group, the link is down below. Every time I buy and sell a stock, I send a message. I send portfolio updates every single day. And also I answer any questions you have, and there's a lot of discussions. We have a lot of ideas on catalysts coming up. We just all research together and bring the best opportunities in the market to this Discord chat and all work together. If you want to get 2 free stocks on Webull, $5 free on Acorn Investing, those links are down below as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment on your thoughts on the Ameritrade challenge as well. And also subscribe to the second channel if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for watching. Let's get rich.